of course, I have a few concerns about the movie in general, but before I air those out.
Okay, if you haven't watched the movie, you probably don't want to be here.
I'm so sorry.
You shouldn't be.
By now, we should have probably said it right at the beginning. But hey, this is a spoiler alert because. Anyway.
But yeah, if you note in the movie, the part where she was like, I can't do this anymore. You could tell that she didn't even know what she was going to do next. It's not like she had a plan.
Yeah.
But that's the thing about surrendering to God, is trusting His plan.
The fact that at one moment we're in a bar and we're ordering drinks, right? And then the next moment we are serving in the church.
Yeah. Hi guys, it's Nyasha.
And it's your boy Caleb.
Welcome to yet another episode.
So what are we going to be doing today, my love?
Today we're going to be reacting to the movie Ruth and Boaz. It's a movie that was recently released on Netflix. So we did watch it 2 days ago. But yes, we are reacting to it. However, we actually want to pull away a couple of lessons from it. So that's what we'll be doing today. And we would also love to hear what your thoughts were on the movie.
All right. And we also got to have a chat with my mom, or our mom really, about a particular issue which I believe will be of interest to you. So make sure to stick around to the end of the video so that you can hear what she had to say.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, so now getting straight into today's video.
Baby, what were your thoughts on the movie as a whole? What were your thoughts? What were your takeaways as a Christian?
I think it was a good movie. Okay, so maybe I'll just give a general overview of what I picked up from the whole movie. I don't know if this is what the producers were going for, but that's what I picked up. Yeah. Like, no matter how deep you are in darkness, the Holy Spirit can still pull you out of it.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying? He can still take you out of it because that's the extent of His redemptive power, right? So we see Ruth, she's deep in a particular lifestyle, but conviction begins to set in. You see her praying before she goes and sings profanities and showing off her bums and stuff, right? But even in that, she realized that there is no fulfillment in a dark life like that. And she made the decisions to actually come out of it. You know what I'm saying? But because of that decision, it led to the death of her then boyfriend and the soon-to-be father-in-law, I guess. It can be so that you definitely have to lose something when you're moving out of that old life. You know what I'm saying? Something has to die. Yeah. Of course, I'm not saying relatives should die, but I'm just speaking in the metaphorical sense. So that you completely come out of it, something might have to die. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And we find her now following Naomi to a completely new place, which to me speaks of a new life. Yeah. And there she finds her destiny mate, or soulmate, as many of them put it. And the old life tried to come back, tried to resurface, you know what I'm saying? But she was wise enough or strong enough or courageous enough to confront it. That's and in a sense, let it know that, hey, I've moved on. This is my new life. You know that song? I have decided to follow Jesus. Yeah, anyway. That's the drama in my head. But yeah, of course, I have a few concerns about the movie in general. But before I air those out, how did you find the movie?
All right. I felt that there are a lot of lessons. There were a lot of lessons to actually take away from the movie. Which really I think is the purpose of any Christian movie. Or Christian-based movie, just put it that way. And the first thing that was very, very distinct to me, which I think really wrote out the entire story, is the fact that Ruth had this inclination for the things of the Lord. Right. And I think that's what we refer to as that still voice of God. It's a still small voice of the Holy Spirit. It's not loud, but it's just that some may describe it as a feeling, right? I think God has put in us inbuilt abilities to actually discern His will, even before we come to that place or point of maturity where we can say, I actually acknowledge that this is the voice of God speaking.
In actual fact, I think I was sharing with one of the young men yesterday that the voice of God does not necessarily speak in words.
No. Not all the time.
We can then interpret what He is saying to us into words. However, he doesn't speak in words.
Exactly.
So what you're saying about that maturity aspect, I guess that's how we then learn that surely this is God and this is what he's leading me to do. You know?
Exactly. So if you note in the entire movie, actually from the get-go, Ruth has this knowing that she is not where she's supposed to be. And it continues throughout. And over time, actually, as the movie goes, you can actually see her actually being led by this, feeling that she has, that we obviously know that it was God prompting her. And I wanted to just take us back to Genesis. I am a lover of going back to where things originated from, what God's plan was. And you see that God created us to image him, right? But he also created us for himself. So there will always be something in us as human beings that will long for the presence of God. So we may seek for his presence in the wrong places and the wrong things, right? A lot of the times you find that people will end up maybe like many relationships because they're looking for true love. People will end up indulging in certain activities that are ungodly because they're looking for something that can only be found in God himself.
Yeah, fulfillment.
Exactly, fulfillment.
Yeah.
And but we have to come to that place where we realize and recognize that that fulfillment is only going to come in the presence of God.
Yeah.
And that's what I appreciated about the character of Ruth in this movie. From the get-go, right? She felt like what we're doing here, this is not it. You see even in her a lot of her interactions with mainly her friend. I can't remember her name, but her friend and her manager. You could tell that when things were going off course, she would voice it out. She wouldn't silence that part. So my encouragement to us is that as some of us may be able to discern the voice of God. Some of us are still learning to discern the voice of God. But don't hush that down, because in Ruth's case, it actually, her being obedient to that voice and actually stepping away and laying down the life that she so loved of performing. She obviously loved singing. Right, but she recognized that she was doing it in the wrong place, and we see that as a result of her actually just surrendering and actually submitting to God's will, even though it was hard. Because if you note in the movie, the part where she was like, I can't do this anymore. You could tell that she didn't even know what she was going to do next. It's not like she had a plan. But that's the thing about surrendering to God, is trusting his plan. The basis of a Christian life is faith and trust in God. We accept Jesus not because we've seen him per se, but because we believe. All right. So we also, as we take those steps as Christians, we have to trust and believe that God's will and his way would lead us into his perfect will. So and
you'll find that one of the things that could have possibly pulled her back into that life was what that guy was saying. Could have invested so much.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And yesterday I was reading reading to this young man from Romans 8, verse 11 and 12. There's a part which tells us that we are not debtors to the flesh to obey it.
Exactly. Right?
So sometimes we feel, oh no, I can't move out of this because I've invested much. Oh no, I can't move out of this because I have so many friends and relationships that I have built up in that time. Oh no, if I move out of this, this is going to happen because I've invested so much into this. But then again, my question to you will be from Luke 9, 24, 25, Kuti. What would it profit a man to gain the world and lose his soul?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So it'll be, I don't think those investments are worth holding on to that kind of life for. You know what I'm saying? And besides, you are able to make more lifelong, more eternal investments, in this new life. So I believe that the switchover is worth it.
That is so true. And again, evident in the movie, because it seemed like you alluded to, my love, it seemed like the moment she, decided to go God's way, that all havoc broke loose, right? The next day, her boyfriend was killed. Her possible future father-in-law they were killed. Her life she probably lived from a point of fear at that point. However, I think a very important point to note is that when you submit your life to God, he perfects everything. There's nothing that's impossible for God. So the thing that you may feel like, oh yeah, I've invested so much. Do you realize that if God steps into that situation in one moment, he can totally shift?
True.
Right? Because everything is under his authority. And we see that in the movie because, again, when they came and then they burnt down the barn where they stored the wine, look what happened. they probably were even more profitable, right?
Yeah.
And the wine, the batch of wine that they had was just different. It was exceptional.
Yeah.
Why? Because God has the ability to take even the situations that are supposed to destroy us.
Yeah.
When His hand is upon something, His grace is upon it too.
Yeah.
And then,
It's literally beauty for ashes.
literally.
All right.
Literally.
So since we said we're reacting to the movie,
Yeah.
there are a few scenes, like I said, I personally had some concern because I worry about the picture that we paint about doing life as a Christian. You know what I'm saying? Which is why I'm concerned.
Yeah.
I'm not judging, I'm just very concerned.
Okay.
You know, first being the fact that at one moment we're in a bar and we're ordering drinks, right? And then the next moment we are serving in the church.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I understand that we are of the perspective that the church is a hospital, all right?
Yeah.
On one end, that's true, all right? However, the church is beyond just being a hospital for people to get well.
Yeah.
It's an army too, for people to actually go out there and fulfill the will of
Right.
God, right? So when you're in the church and you remain a patient, that means we have a big issue.
Exactly.
There.
There's no growth.
You know what I'm
taking
saying?
place
There's no growth taking place, and you're not actually embracing the full mission of God. When it comes to walking in the mission of God, there's two aspects. There's you growing in character, and you actually growing in your gifting and walking your purpose.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So to me, I was quite concerned. And unfortunately, that's actually the general state of the modern day Christian.
You know what I was gonna say? Because I know that even as we were watching the movie, we were kind of like, when the movie started, we were like taken aback a little bit. We were like, what? You know? However, as you were speaking, I'm just thinking to myself, I agree with you. I'm just thinking to myself as you're speaking that perhaps that actually depicts the true picture of what the church looks like today.
Today, yeah. Which is a big concern for me, you know, because to be 1 foot in, 1 foot out, to say you want to serve the Lord and still flirt with the life He was trying to, that He saved you out of, is quite a double standard, if you ask me.
Yeah.
So when it comes to serving God, I think my perspective of it is you should be all in.
Yep.
You know,
That's so true.
you should be all in, because Jesus Christ has no gray areas. He says in Matthew 12:30 that he who does not gather with me scatters.
Exactly.
He who is not with me is against me. So there is no I'm neutral. If you are neutral, you are being pulled away by the tide of the world.
That's so true. And he even goes on to say that it's rather you're hot or cold. You'd much rather
either be
cold
hot
as opposed to being
or
cold.
You know what I'm
God,
saying?
yeah.
Because either way, if you choose the fence, you've actually chosen the wrong side of the whole thing altogether.
That's so true.
You know, because the fence is an honor and it's not God. You know, so that's a concern for me, because on one end, I understand that it's just showing the state of the church, and it makes us aware of what's actually going on. However, on the other end, it could actually encourage and keep it going on, because they're like, oh, this is what other people are doing since media is showing us this. So then my advice to any growing Christian is this: endeavor to put to death the things of the works of the flesh. Endeavor to kill certain appetites so that you don't find yourself flirting with the very things that God saved you out of. That's what will take you back. You know what I'm saying? Endeavor to find fullness and pleasure in God. You know how the Bible tells us in Psalm 37:4 that delight yourself also in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart. It doesn't just mean He'll give you the things that you want, but He will also give you desires.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He'll give you better desires. Coming to the whole gist of the story, at one end you might just be desiring a man. You know what I'm saying? But later on, as you grow in love with God, you realize that, hey, it's not just a man that I need, it's a destiny helper.
Yeah.
Somebody that I can walk in purpose with. Somebody that can love me the way Christ loves the church. You see, already God is beginning to mature your desires.
Exactly.
He's beginning to redirect your desires, you know what I'm saying, and give you certain desires and appetites, you know. So I think as a Christian, as a young believer, make sure you are very careful as to the appetites you allow
Yes.
to grow in you, and the appetites that the desires that you fulfill.
Yeah, I think that's a very solid point, and it really comes down to morals. Our morals as Christian. I think we compromise a lot.
That's true.
I think we compromise a lot, and I'm not sure if it's because we don't have a full understanding of what it means to be the body of Christ. Understand the fact that we are the temples of God. His Spirit dwells in us.
Sure.
Guys, the God who created the universe, His Spirit dwells in us. We house His presence. And when you look, the Bible is a literal template in terms of how we're supposed to live. And when you look in the Old Testament, when the Levites, let's talk about the holies of holies, where the presence of the Lord dwelt, there was a reverence. You didn't just do things anyhow. And it's literally the same thing. We house the presence of God today, yet we are okay compromising constantly. We serve a gracious God, but I don't think that means we should undermine His presence. Again, you look at, one might say, but that's the Old Testament. But again, when we then read again in the New Testament, even just the atmosphere around the throne of God, it's a holy atmosphere. It's a holy, even the angels surrounding His throne, they cannot look at Him because of His holiness, the glory of God. So that shows you the atmosphere of reverence that surrounds Him, the glory that He is. So I think if we walk to realizing whom it is that we are housing and who we're representing, I think it will begin to eliminate a lot of things that we sit around and debate about, because you realize there's no compromise. Okay, I'm going to throw in something that might start something, but like even with the whole aspect of, can I drink, can I not drink? I know that in the Bible, it's not black and white. However, my response every time somebody's like, is it okay for me to drink? It says in His word, do not get drunk. So a lot of times people will quote and be like, but it says don't get drunk. But my question then is, if you are drinking, what is your aim? Because then alcohol will make you drunk. So in other words, yes, it does not like outrightly say do not drink. All right. However, as a temple of God, as the one who houses the glory and the presence of the Lord, why would you consume something that has the potential to taint you? You're right. So in the same manner and way, this is applicable to the whole issue of clubbing. And again, back to the movie, the scenes, the places that they found themselves in, even though they identified as being representatives of Christ or believers, it's not like God will cast you out, right? However, I think we need to remember that we're trying to attain that a holy atmosphere where we constantly revere the Lord. So the best thing that we can do for ourselves is actually separate ourselves from things that actually have the potential to lead us to compromise. Right? There's no need to flirt with something that has the ability to cause you to actually fall.
I think I'll also just say this, that no matter the lifestyle you choose to live, God will not stop loving you.
No, He won't.
God will not stop loving you, and He won't stop calling you back to the place of your fullest potential. However, as you continue to ignore, I don't know if you've read from Romans 1, where it says He gave them over to a reprobate mind. Meaning that, if you insist on not changing the way you think about certain things, the Lord will allow you to continue thinking like that. And unfortunately, that may lead to your demise. So it's just us from a kind heart just delivering this advice so that we also are not found wanting. You know what I'm saying? So I think we also should just endeavor to sow the right seed, to sow seed of eternal value. You know what I'm saying? As it pertains to our lives, the lives that we choose to live, do they truly exemplify the nature of God? I think tying also to the issue you spoke about, that of alcohol and stuff, I think maybe one day we'll actually focus on that alone and speak about it. The Bible may not explicitly condemn drinking alcohol. I think, like you said, many say, no, it condemns getting drunk, but it doesn't necessarily condemn drinking alcohol. My take on that would really just be, the Bible does say, though all things may be permissible, not all things are beneficial.
Exactly.
Isn't it? When you look at the effects of alcohol on your body, when you then also consider the effect of alcohol on your finances, your financial decision, your decision-making capacity sometimes, when you consider the effect of alcohol on just your general well-being, you know what I'm saying? And if you look at how many households have been affected by this issue of alcohol,
actually,
you know what I'm saying? And one more thing, go to Proverbs 31. That book is not only a book about the perfect wife, but you'll find that the mother of King Lemuel tells him that it's not for kings to drink wine, and it's not for princes to drink strong drinks or intoxicating drinks. You know what I'm saying? So to me, my question to you will be, who do you see yourself as? What is your true identity? Who do you identify as? Do you really identify as somebody that stands for the King of Kings? Because that means you're a king. That means you too are a prince. And it's not for princes to indulge in things like that. So I guess based off of your value system and who you actually see yourself as, I see myself as what God sees me as. So just based off of these few things that I've said, I think you can make a decision. We're not telling you what you do, but you can go ahead and make a decision based off of the things that we've said. I think maybe we have time for one more thing that you might have.
How far is too far?
Okay.
How far is too far? Guys, we actually want to hear your thoughts on this one.
Yeah. Anzi, my wife was asking me earlier on, Kuti, what was that guy? Where was he planning on ending up? I was watching. I was like, okay. All right. So the scene, if you watched the movie. Okay, if you haven't watched the movie, you probably don't want to be here. I'm so sorry.
You shouldn't be.
By now, we should have probably said it right at the beginning. But hey, this is a spoiler alert. Because... Anyway.
But yeah, there's a scene where Boaz... Oh, what was it called? Bo Azra.
I was like, this is so creative, bruh.
Anyway. But there's a scene where Boaz took Ruth on a date. Very lovely ambiance. The vibes, beautiful. We love it. We love it. However, so they were crushing grapes, yeah? So my question was, what was he trying to do? What was next?
What was the end game?
What were we trying to get to? Because if maybe I'm wrong, but based off of body language and what was happening in that scene, if Ruth had not felt the need to leave,
of which she wasn't leaving because she was pulling a Joseph.
No,
she was leaving because Pharaoh was knocking on her.
Exactly, right? So it really led me to just wonder, like, how far is too far?
Yeah. That's a legit question.
I'm not even sure we can exhaust that.
We cannot. You can let us know in the comment section what you think. And I think maybe in a video or two to come, we can then discuss. We can maybe touch it.
Okay, so let's tell us how far is too far. Like, was Boaz on the right track? What are y'all doing?
Which reminds me of this joke. Let me look for it.
Okay, so whilst my husband is just checking that out, I think maybe we'll also touch on the issue of relationships. So some people find themselves in a predicament where they feel that if they follow the course that God is calling them to, that they'll lose out on a life partner. What are your thoughts on that?
Okay. I will start by maybe making this sound worse before I make it better.
Okay.
I will say, I found the joke, but I'll read it after I said what I want to say. Okay. I will say, the further you go in God, the smaller your dating pool becomes.
Okay. Yeah, that's true.
Like, let's just be honest about this.
Yeah.
Because the more you get to know God, there are certain, like I said about appetites, there are certain appetites that develop in you. And there are certain appetites that drop.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you'll realize that there are just certain things I liked before which I don't like now. So when you see a man exhibiting some of those things, you're like, it's not that deep because there are deeper things that you're not looking for. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of reduces the pool for you. I remember a time before I met you, before I actually started pursuing you. I used to ask myself, like, hey, there are so many people, but there's really no one because, you know, because of the things that I was doing, where I was at. Not that I'm overestimating or overstating where I was at, but I believe I have a call of God, and I was already walking in it. And at that point, I was like, yo, so does that mean I need to find someone and then start grooming them?
I see.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But
before they could actually be like that helpmeet.
I think it's so solid, my love. I think maybe that's where the problem comes in. And I think maybe that's why people then feel like, oh, if I leave the person I'm with and obey God, then am I ever going to find somewhere? I think that's where the problem actually comes from,
Needless to say, I did find someone. And I'm very happy. So I think even my life by itself is a testimony that yes, you can find someone.
That's true.
You know?
Yeah. And so I guess we can safely say that if you actually follow God's will for your life, you are probably going to find somebody much better than you could outside of the will of God.
True.
Yeah.
True. And then, however, let me also say this. When it comes to the will of God, it's very open to human participation.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So the fact that you're following God, I know, please, I'm not trying to contradict what my wife's saying. What she said is correct. Have that at the back of your mind. The fact that you have found God does not necessarily mean you'll find the right one.
That's true. No, it's true.
Right?
It's true.
There are certain other aspects, there are certain other things to consider, right? So now let me explain. One, if you're not looking, you will not find.
Oh, yes.
Scripture, seek and you will find. So you can't close your eyes or close your ears to the voice of the Lord's leading just because, oh, I'm seeking God. Then you shut everything off. You will not find.
Still gotta leave the house.
Say. Don't take care of yourself. If you don't actually work on becoming the right person, you will not attract the right person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
True.
If you're not in the right spaces, like some people say, oh, I love God, but I left the church. Anzi Chico, I left the church, but I did not leave God. You are candidate number one of not finding a proper. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not in the spaces where the people you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What else? I think I've said quite a substantial amount of things. Okay. That's your responsibility within the will of God. You know, you do your part and the Lord will lead you in the direction of the result.
Yes. And I think that was actually where my point was coming from, my love. The fact that when you submit your life to God, you allow Him to lead your decisions.
Yes.
You know? So it doesn't mean like do nothing. No.
I'm just chilling and God will lead the right man to me.
No. It doesn't work like that. But at least you'll be able to make better decisions based off of your relationship with God.
Be in a place where you can be found.
Exactly.
Like, here's the thing. 2 lines of thought. Some people say, hide yourself so deep in God so that the right
man will come seek you, will find you.
Will find you and go something like that. All right. And then there's the other hiding, where you're literally hiding from people. Ain't nobody gonna come and knock on your door and say, hey, the Lord has sent me and said that you're my wife.
Yeah.
I don't know if that really still happens, or if maybe it can happen for you. I don't know. Maybe you're like a special person and stuff. But all I'm saying is this: as you grow in God, you must also learn to trust God in every aspect of life.
Oh my goodness, that's
because sometimes we're like, oh, I'm growing in God. I'll trust Him to heal the sick. I'll trust Him to give me a word to share. But when it comes to love things, I'll trust my eyes and my feelings. Kai.
Yeah, no.
Anyway, let me read for you the joke. Please have a high tolerance. I'm not swearing. I'm just reading the joke. It says, to all the girls who are in a hurry to have a boyfriend or get married, a piece of biblical advice. Don't read. I want you to react to the joke. Ruth patiently waited for her mate, Boaz. While you are waiting on your Boaz, don't settle for any of his relatives. Broke as, poor as, lying as, cheating as, dumb as, drunk as, cheap as, locked up as, good for nothing as, lazy as, and especially his third cousin beating your ass. Wait on your Boaz and make sure he respects your ass.
Wait on him, guys.
I don't know what you think about that joke.
Wait, I think the moral of the story is wait upon the Lord for the one that is right for you.
Isn't?
Yeah. Allow God to lead you. I know this is a big topic, especially as people get older. Dating in this generation is hard. Now, especially if you're a devout Christian, it's very, very hard. I think for both of us, not just myself, but I think I speak for both of us when I say that we are so thankful to God that He was gracious enough to us to be able to have what we have. And really that is our desire for you guys as well. For you guys to find the right person, for you guys to grow and really function in your God-given gifts. I hope that this reflection has been insightful for you guys, and we would actually love to know what your thoughts were on the movie as well. Yeah, my love.
We would.
Yeah.
And for those who hadn't watched it yet, we apologize for the spoiler.
All right, guys. So on today's episode, we have a very special guest. We have our mom in the house. Please show her some love in the comment section. And honestly, we get so much wisdom from our parents. They've really guided us from the beginning. Really, they have poured into us, and their marriages are such a great example. So even as we are reviewing the movie and taking lessons from the movie, we thought it would be great to sit down and ask Mom a question. All right. So, Mama, we would like to know, from your perspective, being a mother and also being a pastor as well, because I think this is applicable even in the church setting. What are your opinions when it comes to parents, setting up their children? Or finding a partner, or being involved in the process of finding a partner for their child. What are your thoughts?
Wow, since you are the Jumas, what can I say?
Right.
You are Jumaring me, so I think for me, it's it's got two sides. It can be a great idea, or it can be not so great.
Okay.
Depending with the parents, how they raise the child up.
Okay.
And maybe the relationship between parent and their daughter or their son.
Yes.
So, and also the relationship between the father and the mother.
Okay.
Yes, it can play also a big role in trying to set up a spouse for their child. But in Nini, because I know myself as a Christian, as a good mother,
Yes,
I mean,
she's
God
an amazing mom.
God is, by the grace of God, I think I'm a good mother.
Yeah.
I've tried my best. I think I can set up a good wife for my son.
Yes. Yes.
So I don't have a problem with that.
Okay.
Because in Nini, I look clearly,
Right.
Because you guys will be
In love.
and infatuation, maybe not even love.
Okay.
And then you are not sober-minded.
Right.
So you just don't choose because he's tall, handsome, but the character of that person is
That's
not
true.
the best.
That's very true.
And so it's also we look at every angle, you see, the character of that person. We also try to see the background, where they come from. So we consider all that. But maybe you just look at, he's handsome, I love him. That's it.
Okay.
You don't look at many other things.
Yes.
So, I would love to continue doing that for my boys.
She said continue, Mama. That gives us questions.
Okay.
We trust your judgment.
Yeah, so, but Mimi, like now, children of today, you don't want that. But in a way, it's actually safe.
Yes.
Because we know, like I said before, we know the background. And in I can approach that person, maybe if you tell me, Kuti, what do you think of that person? I know how I can go about it, finding information about that person.
That's so true.
You see, without them knowing, Kuti, I'm trying to set up or I'm trying to find out stuff on behalf of my son or my daughter.
Yes.
That's so which makes you safe.
I agree with that. And I think that also addresses the issue. So we had a video a couple weeks back and we're talking about 3 checks that one should consider before they date or marry somebody. And one of the checks we included was parents. Okay. Because parents, we were saying, that have our best interests at heart. And I think from what you've shared, it really confirms that point. So guys, don't hesitate when your parents try and give you wisdom in terms of who it is you should be with. I know as young people, sometimes we may resist that, but they have so much wisdom. They've walked the walk and they can see things that we cannot see as well. So on that point, I think I would like to also ask Mom, for the sake of maybe there are leaders who may be watching this video, or even youth pastors that may be watching as well. Like you rightfully said, we're in a generation where young people, they resist help. So now, what would you advise people who are leading young people, the leaders that are leading young people in terms of the dating aspect? How can they guide them to seek that wisdom from not only their parents but also from their leaders? Is there any wisdom that you can share when dealing with this young generation? Yeah,
I think with the leaders, if now still the issue of relationship, it still comes into play.
Yes.
But if you have a good relationship with your leader, you tell them, this is the person that I like. I'd like to get to know them better, maybe get into a relationship with that person. And if your leader, if you have a good relationship, like I said, even as a parent, I can find out more information.
Yes, that's true.
So the leader can also do that. And also the leader, there are things that they know about that, maybe that particular person.
Yes.
Some behaviors which they may be good or bad. So the leader should be open enough, to advise you, why don't we go this way, do this way, or, So, yeah.
Okay, that's so good. I love that point of correction. I think maybe if I'm getting you right, it's good for leaders out there to not resist correcting, despite how much that correction may, receive resistance. But it's good for them to still correct, because you can help somebody prevent a mistake or even marrying the wrong person.
And also the young people should also accept advice.
Okay.
From their elders, from their leaders, because there are some things that we might know that you don't know.
Yes.
And to know. So it's good that you also have I don't know whether to say a teachable spirit.
Yes.
Or
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that, Mama. I don't know if you have any parting words.
Well, don't be afraid to come to me if you want me to connect you to someone. I can do a good job. I've done that before. You see, I've got friends who are married for years now who we, helped.
Yes. Beautiful.
So, yeah.
Thank you so much.
My question is, when you were introducing me to Nyasha, did you have ulterior motives?
Now you want to expose me.
This will remain a mystery. Thank you so much, Mama.
Yeah, no, Mama, thank you
You're
so
welcome.
much for affording us your time and wisdom. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our mom once again, Reverend Juma. Thank you so much, Mama.
You're welcome. Next time, undudze ninyasozora makeup.
Makeup, all right.